So today I'm going to be redoing a painting that I did 18 years ago. Hi, welcome to Paint Coach. I'm Chris Fornatero, here to help simplify oil painting so you can get better faster. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're looking for full painting video tutorials, I offer those on my Patreon page, which is also linked below. So I'm always trying to figure out what beginning oil painters are struggling with so I can make videos to help them. Then I had the idea, why don't I look at some of my old work when I first started oil painting to see what I struggled with, and maybe they'll give me some ideas. And I came across this painting I did of a barn. I was like, wow, you know, there's some things that are decent with this, and there's some things that could be fixed. And I was like, oh, I really want to try and paint this again. And I thought it'd make a great video for YouTube, so let's jump on in and paint. Okay, so the first thing that pops out to me about this is the lack of kind of control of the paint and not great, you know, edges. You know, it's okay to, you know, have soft edges like some of this in the ground and everything, but I really should have put some more sharp edges and have a little more control in the barn. Also, in terms of depth, you know, this is a really tricky thing that I'll go over, is that in the mountains here, I use just, you know, the color on the rocks, this pinkish orangish color. I should have put that more into the back by cooling it a little bit more and dialing it in, because it's just way too warm of a color. Because, you know, as objects get further away from you, they're going to get cooler and desaturated, and the first thing to drop out is going to be the yellows, followed by the reds, and then you're left with blues. And I think what's going on here is just a little too orange back there. Also, in terms of value scale, like these trees are the same value as, you know, the ground is pretty much the same value as the mountains. The only different value here is I did do a decent job of making this the barn a darker value, because in a landscape the lightest plane is going to be your sky, followed by your ground plane, and then any upright plane to the mountains, and then the dark is going to be any upright objects. So, and this would be the barn and these trees, but I didn't get that as well. And also in detail, I kind of tried to put a little too much detail in the ground here, and just it's not having a variety of color difference between the ground and the trees here. So let's go see if we can make this better. Okay, so I got a quick sketch out here with some burnt umber, and I'm doing on this canvas. I'm actually reusing it. That's why it's got this tone on it. But if you want, you know, you can tone your canvas like that. I always recommend it. Helps with values, gauging the values from the start. I kind of rearranged the composition a little bit because the reference photo was, you know, a lot wider than my 9x12 linen board here. But this guy drawn out in a simple composition. And I'm going to start with the sky and move my way forward. I'm going to do it that way today. So I got my colors here. Got some phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, crimson, burnt sienna, Indian yellow, yellow ochre, cad lemon, titanium white. I'm using linseed oil as always, and I'm using a pretty big brush here. It's a synthetic ivory short flat. You know, a lot of people like to key the sky in first, because I feel like if they get that correct, then it's kind of they use it as a key or a base to make decisions on everything else. They just always refer back to their sky. I did a whole video on painting blue sky and kind of what you know, there's a lot more going on than you think in terms of the gradient and everything. Now, there's not that much sky in this one, so I'm not able to get into it, but I do have a full video on that. Alright, now I'm going to jump into the darks of the mountains, which are going to be purple, this color. So I'm going to get my ultramarine blue, my crimson, white, shadow sides here of the mountains. I know there's a lot of other, you know, you're seeing a lot of other shapes and colors within this, you know, purpley area. This is probably the most important step in painting mountains, because a lot of people just get lost in all these, you know, ridges and, you know, highlights, shadows, and there's snow in the highlights, but there's snow in the shadows, and, you know, you kind of get lost in all of these cracks. And yeah, so as things get further away in the picture, the first color that drops out is yellow, then red, and then you're left with blue. In certain areas, you know, you're going to see certain areas on this mountain are going to have a little more green, some are going to have a little more red. But the main thing is we just want this to really sit in the background. And just like we did the darks of the mountains, we're keeping it simple here, not worrying about little details and just worrying about the big shapes. Another thing is, do not worry about painting every little ridge and crack that you see. That will drive you crazy. It's all about simplifying and knowing how much to put in, what to leave out. It's so important. Now these mountains at the bottom, these are, you know, just because the way the mountains are, these are going to be closer to us. So I think I can add a little more color to them. I think I can throw in a tad more yellow and get a little more of a vibrant green. I mean, not vibrant by any means in relative to this painting, because, you know, obviously like the grass in the foreground right here is going to be the most vibrant, but in terms of these mountains, I think I can get away with, see, a little more green. All right, now time for these highlight areas up in the rocks. And the big tendency is for people to want to paint these in a lot with a lot more yellow. So you see this like warm sun hitting it, and I think they got to throw in these really bright yellowish highlights. And I know it looks like that in the photo, but just the way atmosphere works, it's going to be more red than yellow. I'm just going to be a pink. You see I'm mixing it right next to my shadow color here, so I can kind of figure it out a little bit before I throw it in there. At this point, I kind of want to make it, if anything, if I'm going to miss the color, I want to miss it a little too dark, because I can always lighten it up with highlights. But it's a very subtle thing. Like, you really have to dial in your color to get it right. So take your time. You can see it's even taken me, you know, a couple passes with testing out color to get it right. This is where I'm supposed to be talking like Bob Ross. All right, now we're gonna see a little patch of snow right there, and then there you go. There's a little snow in the crevice there. Oh, it's a happy little snowbank. There you go. Every snowbank needs a friend, so we'll give him a little friend right there. And one right there. Oh yes, lots of snow on these mountains. Lots of snow. You gotta love the snow in the mountains. Just put some over here. Oh yeah. Oh, right there, that's perfect. Some nice little snow. I'm keeping this color cool because this snow, it's in the shadows. Alright, that's enough Bob Ross impressions for today. I'm always wary of going to pure white because, you know, it doesn't really leave you anywhere to go. I mean, say, you know, what if there was snow right here in the foreground? We couldn't have that snow and that snow to be the same color when they're like miles away from each other. You know, we need to leave some room for change. It's kind of like what I always think about. And just knocking this back with just a little bit of that yellow ochre. Boy, oh boy, is this the fun part, isn't it? This is the reason you painted this whole photo, is you like those snowy mountains. Alright, I'm liking these. I'm like keeping these mountains simple. So another thing is if you don't throw a lot of detail into them, that's going to help them sit even more in the background and add to depth, you know, the depth of your painting. Now these trees are a lot more in the foreground than the mountains we just did, so you can make them dark. Cover up these trees, then we'll go back in with some highlights, but a lot of them most of the trees seems to be in shadow. And you see how this dark color is just immediately sitting in front of our mountains here. Very common mistake I see people make when putting the highlights on the trees is they make them way too bright. Because I'm also wanting this green to be pretty different from the green and those mountains behind it. Now, it's hard to see in this photo, but I'm just going to assume that there's a mid-tone here. I feel like I can, this is just too dark. It's good for the accent dark, like the darkest dark in the tree, but I probably should have laid this down before my highlights, but things happen. It's going to move on to the grass here. It's going to be lighter than our trees. It's far away, so it's going to be a little more blue in it. Alright, so for this grass here, I'm going to lay in the kind of the dark accents here. Remember, we're working in the ground plane, so it's going to be, everything's going to be relatively light. Definitely going to be lighter than our trees, lighter than our mountain, not lighter than our sky though. Whenever you're painting dirt, like the ground, especially when it's close to you like this, always look for the red. There's always like a lot of red going on in it. It's going to have this grass in the foreground and shadow. It's always kind of good if you can at any of the corners you're painting to keep it dark, just compositionally. Try to keep this as random as possible. I'm just kind of throwing in some shadow areas of the grass, knowing that I'll go back in with some highlights and finish it all out. Interesting how you see so many colors show up again later in the landscape. Like you got this purple that's in the mountains, you know, this orange that I'm using is going to probably be in the barn. I feel like it's little things like that that like really bring a painting together. Alright, let's do this barn up. I'm going to start with the darkest darks here. Now, I'm putting this in and I'm noticing it's pretty close in color to the mountains in the back, so don't be afraid to go back and push your mountains into the distance a little more and lighten them up. Losing my snow, I can always redo that snow. I'm not, I don't really worry about it over here. I'm just kind of worried about it right here for now. I know that this photo is making this seem really bright, but a lot of times photos tend to make the brights too bright and the darks too dark, so I kind of keep that in mind because I don't want this getting too light because it is a structure and it's an upright plane and it's right here in front of us. Be the first to admit that I'm not the best with a palette knife. Probably spend some more time practicing with it. Some of the variety, you don't want to get too uniform with these boards. Start looking unnatural. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. I also offer you this video and this video. They're both great. Just pick one. Come on.